Well, thank God that is over, and we now have a week where this team can get some rest, get acclimated, maybe practice a little bit more together, get a little more chemistry going, because after that blowout win against the Lakers, getting all excited about this team after the trade, they completely own 2 games. We are 3-1 now since the trade. But that heartbreaking loss last night, and then going into tonight, a little bit of a hangover, it seemed. Sixers need this. Now, I didn't make a video last night because I was so pissed and so disturbed about that loss that I didn't even have the heart to do a freaking video. I was that pissed off. But let's talk about the game last night, because now I'll talk about it. I'm a little bit more level-headed, a lot more calmed down. My blood pressure isn't through the roof. I'm not going to blow a gasket. But, it just showed again the inability of Brett Brown to make in-game adjustments, and Stevens just coached circles around him. They just cannot beat the Boston Celtics for whatever reason. If the playoffs were today, we'd play Boston, and we'd get knocked out in the first round. There's no doubt in my mind we cannot beat Boston. It's just because Brett Brown, for whatever reason, can't make the adjustments. His rotations were absolutely terrible last night. And we can't blame the entire game on Brett. It was a lot of Brett, but if you look at the players, Joel Embiid shooting 8 threes last night, Ben Simmons not being able to take over the game when he's got two really smaller guards. You're going to play guard, you need to take advantage of the mismatches, especially on offense, okay? A lot of times you saw him with smaller defenders on him. You need to take over and stop being so passive, okay? I saw at least a handful of times when he had Terry Rozier on him. I mean, you've got 60 pounds on him, at least 8 inches where you could have taken over. And his inability to be aggressive on the offensive end killed us. And then Joel Embiid, you're the best center in the league, dude. One of the best, if not the best center in the league. You need to go down on the block. You need to stop going behind the three-point line and jacking up threes. I mean, it's just stupid, the inability for them to do that, okay? And Al Horford is freaking his kryptonite. Absolutely, because what he wants to do as a defender is stay around the charge circle and try to swat anything that comes. What's up, Eric? And try to swat anything that comes in his way. But when you have a player like Al Horford, or when they play the Raptors, you got Serge Ibaka, it messes with Embiid because it pulls him out of that restricted zone, and he's got to guard the perimeter. So it takes him out of his element because they can shoot. They can stretch it from all the way downtown. So here's where I'll get on Brett. He can't make the in-game adjustments. There was 2 times where he had this lineup that didn't work, which I don't ever want to see ever again for the rest of the year. You had, and I don't know why he expected this to be even a successful lineup. You had Jonathan Simmons out there, Ben Simmons, Boban, Tobias Harris, and, oh, God, I cannot think. Korkmaz, okay? What the hell are you doing? You've got one guy that could really create his own shot. Ben's going to be this facilitator. So you had Harris, who had an off night last night. Nobody was on last night. Tobias was 4-14, 0 from 6 from behind the arc. So his first game that he struggled as a Sixer. And it was going to happen at some point that this team was going to hit a little bit of a bump, okay? They're a newer team together, of course, so there's going to be a little bit of learning chemistry. They haven't played together. They haven't meshed. It's not going to just happen instantly like that, okay? So that's to be expected. But to happen against the Celtics, oh, it just bothers me, grinds my gear. But Boban, again, who's even bigger than Embiid, is going to struggle. He isn't the defender or shot blocker that Joel is. So they ate him alive. You got smaller defenders like Tice and Al Horford who can stretch from beyond the arc. So you're bringing that gigantic Andre the Giant type player out of there. He should have started Jonah Bolden last night. because Brad Stevens, what he did, he put in a smaller lineup. He had a bunch of guards and quick forwards out there that ate up the bigger Sixers. And Boban's not really a threat offensively. He doesn't really have a post game. He's going to get a lot of his points from guys creating for him, putbacks or what have you. He doesn't jump. He barely blocks shots. He's a very poor rebounder for how big he is. So that lineup was awful. And he put the same squad out there twice last night. And the other thing is when we did go on a little bit of a run, when the Celtics took it, what was a 14-point lead, we cut in. We had like a 9-0 or 12-0 run. I can't remember what lineup it was at that point, but that squad got you back into the game, and then he took them out and put all the I don't think all the starters were in, but he put all the starters in. Brett, you can't do that. Sometimes the best thing to do is not do anything at all. If that team has gotten you back into the game, scrapped, did whatever, then you leave them in there and you roll with it. And he just doesn't do it. He leaves guys out. If I remember correctly, Embiid, what I've said this before, I hate how Brett, he did it tonight too, though, is Joel, three minutes left in the third. He played from then all the way to the fourth quarter. I don't think he got a blow at all. So he was gassed by the end of the night. You want to have your best player fresh, especially in a close game, to where he's going to be able to take over. And he didn't do that last night. So your guy shouldn't be playing all those minutes. You want to give him and have him fresh for the ability to take over a game. That's way too many minutes for JoJo, who has a stamina issue as is, for you to be able to get back in the game, especially if he's struggling when everybody was struggling. The Celtics just give us fits. The 14 turnovers did not help. The missed free throws, especially at the end, Jimmy completely killed us with the missed free throws. I'm not going to blame it on the refs, even though that was a foul on Al Horford, and the league even came out and said it was. It was the inability to execute plays, the turnovers, the missed free throws. We shot poorly from behind the arc, and the Celtics didn't. They didn't turn the ball over. They only had 5 turnovers. We had 14. You know, they didn't score a lot off those 14 turnovers, but, you know, even as it may, still 14 turnovers. This team is sloppy. They had 15 turnovers tonight. It killed us. And then the last play of the game to try to get back into it with 3 points, okay? You've got 3 guys now, not just JJ, so you don't have to worry about a dribble handoff to JJ because that's Brett's only 2 offensive options. It's the dribble handoff to JJ Redick, or you kick it down low to Embiid. That's the only 2 offensive sets that we ever run. Okay, Jimmy's been here since November. Still have not really acclimated him to this team. Brett has not drawn up any plays for him. Now you have another weapon in Tobias Harris. No plays yet for him drawn up. But getting back to that last play when we had 13 seconds left, your play was to draw up and give it to your 7-2 center on the block with 13 seconds left. I'm okay with that, okay, to initiate it and feed it through, but why don't you do a double down screen to try to get one of those 3 guys who I had mentioned previously open for a shot, okay? Because 3 of them, 2 of which shoot over 40% from downtown, and then you got Jimmy, who's a prolific three-point shooter too. He shoots about 38%. But you kick it down to a beat at that point. I don't think that's the right play call to do so. Okay, especially when Tobias was struggling. No, they were able to get him a shot off, and B got it again. Then he just held the ball. It was just, they had our number. I want Jonah Bolden in, though, when he has a smaller lineup like that. We get killed on pick and roll so much, and they executed it perfectly last night. Boston, even without Kyrie, like I was saying before, they didn't make any mistakes. It's a great plan execution. They have a system there, kind of like the Patriots do in football. You know, they might not have the most talent out there. Tatum's a very good player, but you've got Al Horford making Embiid look silly out there. And Gordon Hayward, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, hasn't done shit all season, goes off. Goes 6 or 7 from downtown. We didn't guard the perimeter. They killed us with the 3-point shot, but they murdered us with the pick and roll. Killed us. Joel Embiid, in his indecision to want to cover Al Horford, okay, because he'd be in the middle, but you got to go, dude. You got to, if you're going to go and close out, go after him. If you get beat on the ball fake, so be it, but at least go out and close. So his indecision to go out and cover him from out there from the behind the arc, it was just beautiful coaching at its best. And then tonight we had a 26-point lead. So after that hangover loss against the Celtics, we've got the Knicks, who are on a 17. They remind me of the Sixers a few years ago. Middling talent, close to no talent on the squad at all, on the team at all. And you would figure you'd have a bounce back game. You would be able to feast on this team. They're on a 17-game losing streak. Yeah, they're at home, but still, you're coming off that awful loss against the Celtics. This is where you pound and pummel a team. Okay? Perfect opportunity. They kept it close tonight. We had a 20, and then we stretched it out, got a 26-point lead, and then we blew it. They cut it to freaking 7 points, and it was close to a nail-biter at the end. That should not happen. There was little to no production from the bench in both of these games, both the Celtics and the Knicks. We had 29 points, respectively, in both games. Okay? They almost doubled it last night with the Celtics going for close to 40 points off the bench. And in the night, the Knicks got 74 points off the bench, scored way more than their starters, and we got a middling 29 points again. Cannot happen. Cannot happen. We blew leads again. It's just like a sieve. This is where I blame the coaching. Not only on Brett, but Billy Lang, Monty Williams. Those guys got to go. We have to clean house. This should be putting pressure not only on Brett Brown, but the rest of this team. Billy Lang is a complete joke. I don't know how he still has a job. I miss Lloyd Pierce so much. You know, it's just a struggle to watch. You should have destroyed this freaking team. Okay, and to have JoJo out there in the waning minutes, he got smacked in the back of the face. And you just hold your breath every single time something happens to him, whether he gets smacked in the face, because you remember the orbital fracture he got in his face last year. It's ridiculous. The starters should have got a nice rest, and the bench should be able to take care of business. But, again, it did not. It was a lazy defense, the inability to take care of the ball, 15 turnovers again tonight. If Brad Stevens had this team, I think we'd win like 4 championships. There's no doubt in my mind. But you've got Brett Brown, who at times looks like a well-seasoned vet. Looked like he learned under Popovich and is doing his thing under the Spurs systems. Then a lot of the games you've got the Brett Brown that we all know and love. Or love to hate, I should say. No, I don't think the All-Star break could have happened at a more perfect time. I don't know if the Sixers were looking forward to it. More so, it looked like it out there playing this game. It's like they expect to beat these lowly teams like the Knicks, after coming off of that loss. But Ben Simmons has got to pick it up. He had his woes against the Celtics, as he did. Both Joel Embiid and Simmons, our 2 best players, struggled against the C's. And the Sixers now against contenders, title contenders like Milwaukee, Raptors, and the Celtics, we're 1-7. That ain't going to get it done. So they got to pull their shit together. There's no more excuses. Again, it was bound to happen that this team was going to have its woes and struggle at time to time because of a chemistry issue. But, man, I don't think Brett, and I said this before, I don't think he's the coach to lead us to the promised land. And I don't know for whatever does happen in the playoffs, if he's even going to be considered to be the hot seat. But the assistant coaches are garbage, and Brett struggles mightily a lot of times against coaches like the Dwayne, like the Raptors' old coach, I can't think of his name right now, or Brad Stevens, or Popovich, or Steve Kerr. Why can't Brett coach like he did against Golden State? I don't know. That's what I mean. Jackson, Brett. Also, when the Celtics backup center's ass was on the floor, Joel barely went down low. Yeah, he turned into a jump shooter, which kills me sometimes about him. Dwayne Casey, thank you, Eric. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want to blame it entirely on Brett Brown, even though he has a lot to do with it, but he's not out there playing the game, too. It goes with Ben Simmons not being aggressive and turning into the passive player that I hate and I get on that I've gotten on for him most of the season. He did it even in the beginning of this game. The first half, he was doing the same shit, not taking over. You're going to play the guard position. You have the strength and the size to take these guys. It's a mouse in the house every single time. Go down on the block or break their ankles with a head of steam. They are not going to get in your way. You could go up and take it strong and dunk. They miss too many bunnies. JoJo likes to fall in love with his jumper too much. He doesn't like going down on the post, which he did last night. He only attempted 2 free throws against the Celtics, too, last night. We had 43 free throws tonight, which was good, because that's our bread and butter. It's what we do. We like to score in the paint. But I wanted Jimmy to be more aggressive. He didn't really show up tonight or last night. But he's just still trying to find his way, and that's on Brett Brown, trying to incorporate him into the offense. Draw up plays for Jimmy Butler. He's a closer. Utilize him. Same with Tobias Harris. You have all these weapons now. Now it is up to him to try to orchestrate and draw up plays for these kids. Refs were shit too, but not the reason. That's not the reason. They were awful last night, and that should have been a foul on Al Horford. I can't stand when we play the Celtics because I know what the outcome's going to be. They kill us on the pick and roll. We bite on it so much, we get destroyed. We go under it, which gives them an easy opportunity to give a little bit of daylight for some jump-up shooting, because they always seem to knock down their shots against us. They had 13 threes. Luckily, Marcus Smart wasn't hitting his shots last night. Horford murders us all the time, but why do you have a 7-3 guy on him even when you got Tice out there? Put Jonah Bolden in. He's more athletic, he's smaller, and he gives you the shot blocking ability. Look at tonight with Boban. He doesn't even jump to attempt to try to block shots. I mean, there was times where the Knicks got second chance opportunities. They got 14 offensive rebounds tonight, and Boban's not even putting his hands up or looking to block the shot. He just gave it to him. This team just gets lazy and lackadaisical at times. That's where I want our coach to get on our players, get up in that ass and start screaming at them. And nobody boxes out either. It's like basketball. It's basketball 101. Yeah, 6 shots is not enough for Jimmy tonight. I mean, it was just but that's on Brett Brown. I mean, he's literally getting his points. It's like when you go play down at the playground. Nobody's really played together. He's been here since November, though, but you try to get your points by rebounds, steals, what have you. And it's like Jimmy's got to create on his own. I really hope Elton Brand is looking into getting some more better assistants in here. We lost a good one in Lloyd Pierce. You just wait and watch Atlanta, what they do in the next 2 years. Pierce will have them back in the playoffs in no time. Also, we shot 9 free throws missed last night, 9 free throws missed tonight. That's points that we can't afford to be giving up, especially in a close game like the Celtics game. And their ball movement was fluid last night. They were moving it. Now, Kyrie wasn't in, okay? I think we would have had a better chance if Kyrie was playing than him not. The Celtics play better without Kyrie in the game. 100%. Because he's so ball dominant, it makes you adjust your defense, okay? So you're not going to really have to worry about so many of those pick and rolls. You can defend them a lot better. I mean, look what happened last year when he went out. Look at the run they went on. The role players were able to step up. It was the system that came into play. Then they executed all the plays that they needed to. I mean, it's like poetry in motion. But now with Kyrie out, you saw what happened. It killed us. Now, if he was in, he's so ball dominant, and he's amazing to watch play, but it screws up the way they play. You know what I mean? There's a reason they're not one of the 2 top teams in the East, because he's been healthy most of the year. So it screws up their flow 100%. And I think he's going to bounce out anyway, so I wish he would have played last night. But if we play them in a series, if it stays 4-5, we're done. We're getting knocked out in the first round. There's no doubt in my mind. They played scared. They played like crap. It's like you have 5 all-stars starting, and not one of them went off. And they also know how to suffocate JJ. JJ does not play good against Boston either. So they build a wall for Simmons to stop him from going into the paint, but he really didn't even attempt last night. JoJo, they put a smaller, quicker guy on him like Horford, and on the defensive end, draws him out around the three-point line, which is his kryptonite. Okay, takes him away from the basket so he can't really block shots. And then they suffocate JJ. You put Marcus Smart on him. A Terry Rozier. But you saw what happened last night when they had the switch and got Tatum on JJ. They went down to him, got the easy buckets. When we had the mouse in the house, when we had the switch and the disadvantage, or the advantage, they had the disadvantage. We didn't execute. We went away from it and decided to shoot threes with our 7-2 center. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just frustrating with this team sometimes. You get real highs and lows with this team. Especially coming off such a dominant win against LA. Like Fred is our Mark Jackson we need. I was just about to mention that. I don't know if that's going to be the case to where you have the team molded like Golden State did, and then you bring in whoever our Steve Kerr would be and whoever that coach could be to take us to the next level. I know, it happens all the time. He's a Sixer killer. He has been for years. The last 2 years with Boston, well, last year he didn't play, but when he would come in with Utah, he'd murder us all the time. Yeah. It all depends on what Brett does this year, whatever happens in the playoffs. I don't know if they will move away from Brett because he's really tight with the organization. You want to bring Doug Collins back? I don't want no Doug. Are you using that as an example for another team? So, couldn't have happened at a better time. We didn't throttle them. We ended up beating them by 15, but we should have maintained that 26-point lead. In the third, they cut into it. It was our poor freaking quarter last year. We would always bleed and let up leads like a sieve and let teams get back into it. Yeah, right. Bring Larry back. I'd love that. And you try to look around the league to have young coaches that are out there now that could possibly give you opportunity, like assistants. You got Mike Brown, who also learned under Popovich, who's out there he's biding his time before he gets another shot at a head coaching job. I could see Elton Brand possibly going after him. Shaka Smart. Yeah, I didn't even think about the college ranks. Billy Donovan was the last college coach to come up here and have success. Have you thought about what Brett Brown has been through this year? What do you mean by that? Yeah, dude, I love Coach Bud. Awesome. Look what he did. You had Jason Kidd out there, wasn't successful. Then they had the interim coach, brought Coach Bud, and look what he's propelled that team to. Tom Thibodeau, I wouldn't mind Tibbs. He's a very defensive-minded coach. Yeah, I don't think whatever happens this year, they won't get rid of Brett Brown, even though they need to. 160 game. Yeah, Bud Budenholzer's a great coach. Series with Boston and Embiid isn't going to play his best. Brett said I coached 3 teams this season so far. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means by that. But I think we should look at college coach. We should have our options open. Elton Brand shouldn't be supplanted with Brett Brown. Because all the rumbles in the media. He's got eyes. He was a player in this league. He understands. I hope so. He should be on the hot seat 100%. I do not want to play Boston in the first round. I pray that after the All-Star break, we go on a tear like we did last year. Remember we won 16 straight games? I want to go on another tear like that. Even after that really tough schedule, we ended up going 7-5, which isn't terrible. I will take it. That was a tough stretch that we went through, and we were able to come out. And if you think about it, that one win over that one loss, against the Thunder, The way we lost that possibly could have been another one. So we almost went 8-4. Jay Wright, if he ever leaves, that would be poetry in motion. But you never know how college coaches are going to, whether it's football or basketball. I would like Shaka Smart. You never know how the game's going to translate because Billy Donovan was almost on his way out. When he was first with the Thunder, they were not playing well. I don't want to play Boston, period. And sometimes it's all where the chips fall, too. It's about luck and who gets placed where. You know? Because there's been other teams in years past. It's just we can't get over that, but they can't get over that bugaboo. It's tough. Just can't get over that hump. Like the Patriots can't beat the Giants. We can't beat the Celtics. Yes, they do. Billy Donovan was able to made adjustments, implement his system. Now look at how nasty they are defensively. You remember all those great teams he had down there in Florida? Billy Donovan, with the way they played the way they played defense. Now he's translated that to the NBA. 3 different teams. Oh, okay. Yeah, Jay Wright, he coaches like Larry Brown on one team. I'd love to have Jay Wright here. Would love it. And the Sixers are soft. I agree. But it all starts at the top. That's Brett Brown's fault. You want to bring some nastiness with Jimmy Butler? Brett Brown makes everybody soft. He's a puss. Simmons is soft, Embiid's soft. The whole team is. Jimmy's not. He's still him. Larry Brown, too old. Yeah, no, he's too ancient. Brett Brown needs to go. I said that years ago. Gotta give the guy a chance. You know, he did win 53 games last year. But look at the track record with the turnovers consistently over the years. With sloppy play. Not good on your players. He doesn't have the mentality of Popovich. He's trying to bring that Spurs mentality in the coaching system. I just don't see it. You know, you do have the players now to run the Spurs system in and out because of the three-point shooters we have. They're also young. We have to remember that they're still young. You know, they aren't of age just yet. Embiid only being 24, Simmons only 22. They're just very young. Sixers are better than the Celtics. Just got to make the right adjustments. Brett Brown is used to losing bad. He doesn't make adjustments. I don't think he knows how to make in-game adjustments. That's what sucks about him. I don't know if Jay Wright is ever going to leave that situation in Villanova. He has done wonders with that team for years. He's set. He's not going to... They're not going to force him out. He could coach there until he retires. Till he's 80 years old if he wanted to. And he gets paid a great wage. Jay Wright pretty much knows everything. Yeah, he's won national titles there. Built a powerhouse in Villanova. And it's not like they get like 5-star recruits either. They get guys that stay to their junior and senior seasons. So it's a system. He's a smart basketball mind. Jay Wright should come and try to coach pro ball. But you look at the coaches that have not had success here in the NBA that were very successful in college. Got Rick Pitino. He was with the Celtics. Didn't work out. Completely awful. You know, we know what he did with Louisville. Minus having the prostitute sleep with all his prospects to come. And Calipari's another one. Thank you. Yep. He's another one that comes to mind. Larry Brown was a success story. There are your success. Billy Donovan. So, Pat Riley as well. But I would definitely give Jay Wright a shot. I still think we need better assistants, too. Our assistants are garbage. And that's only as good as your head coach can be, too. This team should have a plan. There is no plan, though, Eric. He's got 2 offensive sets. Feed and beat on the post. He is. I don't think he's a great basketball coach. He's a great recruiter, and that's all you need. He's a great talker. He was gifted with the silver tongue. I agree with that. But yeah, he doesn't have a plan. No, he didn't. He doesn't really coach that great in the college basketball either, Eric. He's a very, very persuasive guy. He's a great recruiter. That's what he is. Same with Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban's a great coach though, and he's a great recruiter. He's both in their respective areas. He did, I think, with the Knicks. Who's that? Filio24. So we got a week now for Brett to sit down and try to hammer some shit out, get some cohesion. You got Embiid and Simmons in the All-Star game. This is the week where everybody gets to kick back and relax. I don't want that to happen. I'm hoping they're hitting the court, they're working out, they're getting chemistry acclimated with each other. Oh, he did coach. I don't remember what team it was, though. I'll have to check that for Calipari. Everybody, there was always rumors of Krzyzewski. See, that's where Wright reminds me of Krzyzewski. Coach K. He could easily come to the NBA if he wanted to. I know there's been multiple times that he's trying to be pulled from college to the NBA, but he's been at Duke since I've been alive. He's been at Duke longer than I've been alive. So, sometimes when you get a great situation, you get all the school accolades or whatever, you're going to get paid a ton of money. Some guys just don't want to make that leap. Is Jay Wright one of them? I don't know. I would love for him to come and coach in the NBA, possibly the Sixers. Be awesome. But Brett Brown needs to fix and make adjustments. We were cooking there for a while, and then we hit that speed bump with the Celtics, and it's like we're back to the Sixers of the beginning of the season, even with the new guys in here. Draw up plays, read some freaking cliff notes on how to coach, Brett. I don't care what you got to do. Just fix it. We got to work on trying to, because teams can figure us out easily. They're going to double Embiid, and then you're going to dare everybody else to do something. A lot of the times when we do feed Embiid down on the block, people just stand around. Nobody's moving. There's no moving parts. Okay? Why don't we bring Embiid down, have him at the top of the key, have slashers go down there, or do some double screens to get either JJ or Tobias open, even do some iso ball. Let's get a pick and roll with Boban and Jimmy. I just never want to see that freaking lineup of Boban, both Simmons, Kork Maz, and Toby out there. Never. And he did it twice. It didn't work the first time. What the hell made you think it was going to work the second time in the Celtics game? You jackass. Brett Brown reminds me of Mark Jackson with the Warriors. I like Mark Jackson, though. I thought he was a good coach. He increased their winning percentage each time, and then right when they were about to peak, they just booted him and brought in Kerr. So I would even like to have Mark Jackson come and coach this team. See what he's got. Have him start him as an assistant, and then, possibly bring him in as head coach. But nobody on this staff should be with this team. The only one that could have stayed is gone and now coaching the Atlanta Hawks. And for such a barren roster that they have, the Hawks, they're littered with rookies. They're not that bad. They beat the Lakers, not saying much, but they beat the Lakers. They beat us. They gave us a run for our money a couple times. I don't like Monty Williams. Somebody had mentioned they wanted him to be the next head coach. They do, Smooth. They just own us. 10 out of 12 meetings, they've defeated us. We're 1-7 against contenders. What do you think about TNT broadcast last night? I couldn't stand. I was at the game, so I didn't. Yeah, he was. And now we got Billy Lang. We let Lloyd Pierce walk and kept Billy Lang. So I don't know what the TNT was saying. I was down at the Sixers game. Surrounded by Celtics fans, mind you. That's what's up. Good for you, Nathaniel. Niners are a great organization. 5 chips. Yes, they do. This guy was annoying as shit, though. I watch a good bit of Hawks games. I enjoy watching a lot of their offenses. Yeah. Good team. Good coach. Mark Jackson had no clue how to utilize their offense. I watched Kerr interview on how they implemented his style, and I believe. Well, he came from the Popovich tree, too. I'm sorry if I was an Irish fan. I still. I don't. You can be a fan of whoever you want, Nathaniel. Don't matter to me. I'm not an Eagles fan. I don't root for the Eagles, and I live in Philly my whole life. Bias broadcasting national. That's because of the Celtics. He does all the Celtics games when he comes here. Brett Brown, coach of the year. Yeah, right, dude. Hell no. Funny troll there, Smooth. Funny troll. Brett Brown will never win coach of the year. Nah, I'm not an Eagles fan, bro. Adrian that does the football, he's an Eagles fan. I'm a Jags fan. So, it's cool if you're a Niners fan. You can root for whoever you want. Don't matter. Them Celtics fans littered the center last night. And they were mostly around me for whatever reason. Yeah, we do still wish we had Moose. Biggest mistake we've made. Yeah, I don't want Nick Foles. I hope the Jags don't get Nick Foles. I am praying they don't get Nick Foles. But that's another story. I'm going to talk a little bit of basketball. So we go into the break. You know, Brett seems to be stuck with always putting Boban in to give Embiid a blow. But I think also another thing I want to see, I think Bolden should be worked back in. You've put him on the shelf when he was playing decent basketball. But what he gives you is he's able to stretch the floor. He gives you some bounce in his step, and he can block shots. All stuff Boban can't do. But you've got to look at your opponent. This is what Brett seems to not realize. You're going to have a smaller lineup. Do not put giants in the game, okay? Match it with speed. That's what you got to do. Enough about the Jags bags. Haha, yeah, that's for another channel, Eric. And then the same thing when you're coming down. Why does he not substitute JJ in offense and defense when it's a close game? Because the Celtics attack JJ, which a lot of teams do, because he's a liability on defense. That's where you have to play a little bit of chess and not checkers. But when Brad Stevens is playing against Brett Brown, coaching against Brett Brown, yeah, it's chess and checkers. He does, and it boggles my mind why he does it. You know they're going to attack him. He's smaller. He doesn't play good defense at all. Substitute him in offense and defense. It ain't that hard, Brett. Coach, use your what little brain you have. Yeah, same with TJ. They attack him, but I will have to say, TJ does try to ventilate as hard as he can. You know, he plays full court press the entire game. He got a nice steal tonight. You know, when he was playing 20 to 25 minutes, it was more of a glaring problem. But when he's only getting the 10 to 15 minutes, if he's going to get beat, okay. But he does put everything he has into it. So it's not his fault. JJ, on the other hand, not quite the defender TJ is and can be. So TJ does get beat a lot defensively. But I think his positives outweigh his negatives. So I'll tell you that. I think he's a nice backup point to Ben. He runs the offense fluidly. He's been in the system since he's been here for 4 years now. You know, and he can shoot. He gets nice high percentage shots. He's one of the highest percentage shooting guards this season with 56%. Yeah, I don't know who they had. You know, again, when I'm down at the home games, I don't hear who's doing the games. And when they're away, I always listen to Ala Abdelnaby and Zumov. I like them. I don't like a lot of the TNT broadcasters. Philly man, Holland, they need a playmaker scoring point guard. We look terrible in the late game situations. That's Ben Simmons, bro. What did Ben shoot at the free throw line at the All-Star break last year? Good question. Should have been traded for a better. Nah, I like TJ McConnell. I think he's the perfect backup point guard. That's a good question though about Ben. What did he shoot? It was around the same. It might have been a little lower, but it was in the 50s. He's shooting what, 59%? It might have been like 56. It hasn't upticked that much. And for him to not shoot that much higher, I expected him to shoot at least in the mid 60s, maybe close to 70. Because you look at DeAndre Jordan, who was one of the worst free throw shooters that I've ever seen. He's shooting up close to 70%. He's figured something out. Yeah, I love Mark Zumhoff. He calls a great game. And Al is a nice partner to team up with him. But it doesn't seem like Ben has worked on it at all. Now, and see, imagine it's game 7 in the finals, and we got Ben at the line. I have no confidence that he's going to sink both. Like, my stomach goes up to my throat. Yes, it has. He needs to learn to shoot. He has to train. He wants to talk about talking to Hall of Famers over the summer. All right, don't go talk to Magic because he couldn't shoot worth a shit. Go talk to T-Mac. Go train with him. Or Rick Barry. Yeah, Rick Barry with the underhand. Don't matter how, it's shot just as long as it goes in. But he needs to train with Tracy McGrady. That guy's one of the best scorers I've ever seen play the game. He was my favorite player back in the day. Or a Ray Allen if he's willing to do it. But T-Mac has come out on multiple formats, whether it's TV, Twitter, multiple social media outlets, saying that he would love to train Ben Simmons. So I would like Ben to reach out instead of training with his brother, who's a Joe Schmo and is a nobody. Go train with professionals that have done it night in and night out. And that are going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, like a T-Mac. Just do it. And I want to see some results from it, bro. Because if DeAndre Jordan could do it, so can you. Just change it and keep the defense honest. You have to learn how to shoot. He is what's going to hinge us on winning championships, Ben Simmons. Vince Carter, anybody. I would be fine with that. All these guys are good shooters. Get away from your family. Stop training with your brother. You can still train with your brother, just not on shooting. I don't see the Lakers. They lost to the Hawks last night. I don't see them making the playoffs. Yeah, I want him to train with T-Mac so bad. When he actually came out and said that, he said it on the jump. I seen it on Twitter. I saw it on Instagram. I've seen it on Facebook. I saw it on ESPN. Didn't AI have high free throw percentage? I think he was in like the 80s. Like what, 84% AI shot from the charity stripe. It seems like the Sixers don't like to get AI involved in that kind of. They use him for PR mostly. Get him at games, get him to talk to the players, but not training wise or anything like that. Dude, tell me this Brett Brown got to go, and would you like to see replace him, to be honest? Yeah, I would be fine with Brett Brown going. I'm over him. Because when it comes down to the most important games, he don't show up. He's clueless. He don't make adjustments, and that's what bothers me the most, and you have to do that in professional sports. Teams watch tape. It's all out there to be studied. And for you not to be able to do anything on the fly kind of questions your credibility a little bit. Who would I replace Brett with? Well, I've said that multiple times, but he's already head coach. I wanted Lloyd Pierce to be the Sixers head coach. But as of now, Jay Wright's name is floated around. I would like to see Jay Wright. There's Mike Brown, I think, could do a decent job with this team. Alvin Gentry, if he gets fired, I would snag him up in a minute. I would have liked to have Dwayne Casey here. Any of these guys. But realistically, those couple last names like Lloyd Pierce, Dwayne Casey, they're not obtainable. I think Mike Brown's attainable. I think Alvin Gentry's going to get fired, so I think he could be a candidate. I would even go after Mark Jackson, who's been broadcasting for the past couple seasons. You know what's messed up, too? I always thought this was like a real slap in the face to Mark. They kicked him off that team after he increased their winning percentage each year. Okay? And then right when they're about to peak, they kick him off, but then they make him freaking commentate the finals multiple times. Like, oh, here you go. It's like dangling a Lamborghini keys right in front of you. Like, oh, here you go. You almost had it, but you got to be quicker than that. Like, multiple times they won. They won 3 out of 4 championships. Here you go, Mark Jackson. You could be the color commentator for all these games for the finals. Yo, bro, Brett bothers me. I don't think they're gonna keep him because they're gonna go through a struggle period. I hope they do. I'm hoping Dale Demps fires Alvin Gentry. I would love to have him. But there's a couple. I can't think of the assistant on the Jazz that coaches under Quinn Snyder. I'd like to have him. I can't think of his name right now. I don't want no hires like Jason Kidd or anybody like that. He struggled as a coach. You'd always think ex-players would be really good coaches. They really never end up being, though. They struggle mightily, you know. They played the position, especially a point guard like Kidd or Magic or whoever. They've all struggled. I think Bill Russell struggled as a coach. We all know Jay Kidd did. Derek Fisher. A lot of them. I think Hakeem Olajuwon didn't coach, did he? Patrick Ewing was a coach. He was an assistant for a bunch of years, and he's coaching Georgetown now. I don't know what the success he's having. But all in all, when it comes down to crunch time, and you're coaching against, a worthy opponent like Brad Stevens, more than likely Brett Brown's going to be on the losing end. Just imagine if we did. That was such a great hire. Great hire by the Celtics. Getting him from Butler and signing Brad Stevens. And it was phenomenal what he did with that, not only this organization, but what he did with that program down in Butler. I'm not the biggest Kevin Ollie fan. I'd probably pass on him. But I will give Brett, though, he's good at drawing up inbounds play. That's why I thought he'd have a better inbound play drawn last night. Oh, Doc Rivers is phenomenal. I'd give up draft picks to get him, too, but he's not going anywhere. With the slew of young talent that they have now and all those assets that they got from us, they're set up. They're reloaded. They've got a nice young point guard. They got nice pieces off the bench, too. They still got Lou Will. He's still starting to get up there. They got a nice vet. Montrezl Harrell is a very good player. They're set up. And they're in a really tough conference, and they're fighting. If you look at their team, you wouldn't expect them to be the 8th seed in the West. Yeah, I said, Harrell's nice. I'm trying to think who else they got. And they just acquired Shamet, so there's a nice young piece they could use going forward. Darnell, when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's a very good player. So they're on the up and up, and then they're trying to clear space to go after Kawhi, which they could very well get. They can offer 2 max contracts. Plus, they have one of the richest owners in the world, close. The IBM mogul. But I think it's going to take more than a week to get this fixed. These last 2 games were very telling. Very. I think if they would have came off that win with the Celtics, that they would have destroyed the Knicks tonight. But since the way they lost that game, just sloppy basketball, that stench kind of carried over to this Knicks game. And how about the posterized? Like, Simmons has gotten posterized now back-to-back games. One by Tatum, and that one by Kevin Knox was filthy. Nope. I don't think Ben Simmons is going to take another 3 all season. They're giving it to him. You play Boston again, what do? They fill up the freaking paint. They fill the lanes. They build a giant wall and dare you to shoot. And he didn't do it again last night. You see all that, and I don't know why, because you see all the warm-ups. He's draining shots. It's coming out fluid, nice. I don't know what changes during game time. Whether he psychs himself out, he second guesses himself. Unless Toronto wins the chip. I don't know even if they win the chip, he stays. He hates the cold. He absolutely hates the cold. Oh, I think he's leaving for LA regardless. Whether it's he's not going to the Lakers. He wants to go to LA on some team. Thank God they have two. And that would be his team. He still have a team. He's got a better team, I think, with the being coached under Doc Rivers than what he's got up in Toronto. Yeah, I have a very strong feeling he's going to go there. But who knows? I thought Paul George was going to go to the Lakers, and he decided to stay. So nothing's guaranteed. Is it possible? Yeah. But who knows? On that Ben poster. Tonight, with Kevin Oxyme, he's a really nice young player. I like him a lot. I think the Knicks have something to build off, and maybe if they get Zion Williamson and they got Dennis Smith Jr., they got a nice little core. It's still worth it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they went for it. That was a good trade for both teams. You get a huge contract. It wasn't working out with Lowry and DeMar DeRozan anymore. Same situation is going to happen with Portland, with McCollum and D-Lil. They're not going to win a championship with those two guys. So one of them's going to have to go. I think McCollum, they're going to keep Lillard and build the franchise around him. Nothing in the playoffs. You don't know, but they tend to choke in the playoffs. You think KD goes to New York? I don't know where Kevin Durant's going to go. That guy's bipolar. He's crazy. He could go to New York to get the money. You're playing in a big city. Okay, you've won your championships. You've won an MVP of the league, MVP of the finals. It all depends if he feels like his accolades are good enough to go get that big payday. Or does he want to wait another year to get even more money? I don't think he's not going to stay with the Warriors. He's definitely going to leave. He could go to the Lakers for all we know. He could go to the Clippers. I don't know where KD's going to go. He could. I don't know if they want to keep him, though. He's going to demand some big money, and they want to re-sign Clay. It's going to be an exciting offseason. Look at all them free agents. You got Giannis. You got Zingard. Klay Thompson. KD. I think he needs to go there and win to consider better than LeBron. Joel got to use more post moves and quickness against guys like Horford. He should overpower Horford. But those guys give him fits. They hold their ground and they swipe the ball away from him. I hate when he puts the ball on the floor when he tries to act like a guard because he turns the ball over 9 times out of 10. They get in his head, and defenders like that give him fits. Bias will take pay cuts to stay here. No, I do not. They're going to want to get paid. They're going to both want the max. Tobias definitely deserves it. They're going to both want the max money. Jimmy stay, and would you mind seeing him go? I love Harris. I love Harris and Jimmy. We need both of them to make a run at this. We can't live or play without either of those guys. I favor Tobias over him just because of the age. And I think it's tough to say. They're both very, very good players, but it all depends what we do in the playoffs. I think for Jimmy, to see if he wants to stay, I'd pay both of them the max, though. Just because of what he brings defensively, Jimmy, and then we all know what Tobias can do. He can light it up. So I'd like to keep both of them. I mean, there's Chris Middleton out there. I don't know if he would fit like Jimmy does here. I don't think Jimmy, but Tobias definitely wants to stay. He's come out and said that. He likes the situation that he's in, and he's deserved a payday. So he's going to get that $188 million. I couldn't see Jimmy going to the Lakers. Not with Bron and all. You got Middleton out there. He's a very nice player. I don't know if the Bucks will let him walk. How weird would that be if they both swapped? Jimmy to the Bucks, and then we get Chris Middleton. You've got to replace the. And I like Jimmy because he's the closer. Or supposed to be. Problem is, he's come out and said that he doesn't want to play till he's 35. Max contract would constitute him playing till he's 35. And then age comes into factor. I thought he was. I thought Giannis was a free agent this year. Are you positive? I must be stupid or something. Why didn't All-Stars like playing with LeBron? That was big. A lot of people don't like playing with LeBron because of the way he controls the locker room and a team. Ah, man, I swore he was a free agent this season. Well, regardless, they're going to give him a max contract anyway. They might try to lock him up this year then. There's been a lot of talks where they're trying to give him a contract now. Well, I mean, what else does LeBron really have to prove, too, He doesn't have anything to prove either. He's setting himself up for the later years after basketball. That's why he moved to L.A. That's why he picked the Lakers. Because really, realistically, if he wanted to make a push, he should have just stayed in the East. There would be no reason to leave. You own the East. And you join a team like the Sixers, and you completely... I'm so glad he didn't stay here, though. Or come here, I mean. They're going to be players for Anthony Davis still. Come summer, who's going to offer the better package? I would have pulled the trigger on the Lakers deal because I thought it was phenomenal. Getting all that for one guy, picks and young talent. But you look at Boston, they have better assets when it comes to picks and or players. So I think that's what Dale Demps is banking on. I don't think so. I'm not getting into this debate, but I think Jordan's the GOAT. I don't think LeBron's better than Jordan. You can go through so many angles on why Jordan's better than LeBron. It's definitely up for debate, but most people disagree. Yeah, it's like a debate nobody ever wins. The Jordan and different eras. So many things come into play. Guys are definitely top 5 talents, though, of all time. It's not even close. Who do you think, Giovanni? You think LeBron's better than... Are you the one that said that? We'll never know because it's a different era of basketball. Couldn't accept it because they didn't have enough roster spots. Yeah, I agree. Jordan destroys LeBron. Well, to go back to that, there was no point for them to rush that trade off anyway, Why just give in to what the Lakers want? Because they're the only ones offering it. Dale Demps is going to do his due diligence and hear what other teams... There could be a dark horse team in there that gives him a better package. We don't know. I mean, it would be stupid for him to do that trade. So regardless if it was a roster spot or not, it's bigger than baseball. Plus, Clippers are gathering assets too. Yeah. They could use them in trades. They could keep them. They could offer 2 max contracts too. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. Basketball has, propelled itself up there with football during the offseason. Yeah, LeBron has. Yeah, he's a great businessman. He has a lot of stuff going. He went out to L.A. also to promote Space Jam 2. So there's more into it. Plus, his son was going to a preparatory school out there that is considered loaded for younger kids coming into their own. And plus, the weather's nice there all the time. Him being from Akron, Ohio, which is weather like ours. It's shitty 9 months out of the year. I do like that Aaron Nola contract. I was going to do a vid on that tonight. Well, I'm not going to do it now because it's 11 o'clock, but I do like the signing. LeBron should be the logo of the NBA. I don't know if they'll ever change it with Jerry West. They didn't do it for Jordan, so I don't know if they will do it for LeBron. Yeah, they got a steal. They got him on the cheap. So it makes me think, Philly, 024, Did we only get him on the cheap because Bryce Harper is going to get that contract? Fingers crossed. Let's hope that Real Muto trade was enough for Harper to decide to sign here instead of picking the Nationals. That could be telling. I mean, you could draw speculations from anywhere. Yankees ain't winning the World Series, dude. Get out of here. They couldn't even beat the Red Sox. We'll have to. I'm ready for baseball, too. I love baseball. Baseball season's hype. Okay, thank you, David. Who do you want, Gaff Harper? I want Bryce Harper. The hell with Machado. After his comments about saying that he ain't going to hustle, he doesn't have to be Johnny Hustle, I don't want a player like that on our team. We're Philly, baby. We're freaking... We're diehard fans. We want the best effort 100% of the time. We're blue-collar, hard-working, lunch-pail people. We don't want that shit. You can go do that out in L.A. They don't mind. They don't mind that crap. And he's only doing that with $16 million a year. Yeah, the whole imagine you're right. He was doing that about what, $15 million a year Machado's making this year? Imagine when he does get that big contract. You think he's going to hustle then? Nope. Yeah, San Francisco was in the mix. There was a scare, but they're not going to offer him a max contract. And why are you going to go play for a team that's on its downfall? Bumgarner's out the same pitcher. Posey's getting older. They're not going to be in contention. How old is Bryce? Bryce is 26. He's young. I mean, both him and Machado are 26, but he's younger. Then there's the notion of people going out there, well, if you don't get Machado or Harper, then you're going to get Trout. No. I love how people speculate just because he's from Jersey that he's automatically a Phillies fan and he wants to come play here. No, I don't want to bank any of that on that. I want to throw stupid amount of money at a talent like Bryce Harper that barely hits free agency ever, his type of talent. Yeah, exactly. Young. Middleton came out and said the Phillies are going to spend stupid money. Don't eat your words. Go out and prove it. Give that man $350 million. 8 years. Do less years and more money front-loaded in the contract. Because when you get those big contracts like that, like the Albert Pujoses, the Ryan Howards and all, the end of the contract's always backloaded with you get more money as they get older, which never made sense to me. Why are you paying the guy more money when he's older when the talent is diminishing at that point? And the Albert Pujoses, I don't want Craig Kimbrell. I'm not paying a closer $100 million. We got Sir Anthony Dominguez. We're set in the bullpen. I'd maybe add another arm. You can never have enough, but the amount of innings he has on his arms, nah. He's not like a Mariano Rivera. That dude has thrown some heat, and there's a lot of innings on that arm. I am not paying Craig Kimbrell that amount of dough. Free agents are blowing in the wind all because of Machado and freaking Harper. This is why baseball is declining, and you're not getting young people interested in it. They should put a salary cap on that shit. You're dragging it out way too long for more money. It's $300 million, dude. Do you think an extra $20 million or $40 million is going to mean that much more? It doesn't. You'll never spend that. 3 generations of his family won't spend that. It's crazy. All right, on that note, since we're talking baseball, I'm going to end this vid. Yankees. Yeah, that was a good signing. I'm very happy with the Phillies offseason so far. Not disappointed at all. I think they gave McCutchen a little too much money, but I like him being on the team. Hey, we can go after Marwin. He plays first base, though, so I don't know where you'd put him. Yeah, there should be a cap in baseball. I agree. It has ruined the league the way it gets drawn out. I mean, the average fan of baseball is like 50 years old or 52 years old. They're trying to speed up the game. Now they're trying to get rid of They're trying to put the DH in both the NL, or how it is in the AL. They're trying to put it in the NL, which I think is a joke because they're trying to put up more numbers offensively. Nah. Having that in the NL is perfect because it makes it more strategic. It's harder to win. You have to think more. Like, having that is dope. I don't want you to get rid of that and just put. And plus, you're taking jobs away from people. If you have a permanent DH, that's more money you have to spend on players. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's bound to happen. It's probably going to happen within the next couple of years. No problem, Dave. All right, y'all, I'm going to get up out of here. I'm going to end it on that note since we're talking baseball on my basketball vid. But a lot of work to be done still. All-Star break, it's way past. A lot of people think it's the halfway. We only got, 25 games left? The regular season, then it's playoff time. Sixers have to go ham in the rest of this season. There's about a third of it left, and we got to go on a run like we did at the end of last year because I want at least a top 3 seed. Possibly 2 if we can get it. You look at the Pacers, they're still winning games with that Oladipo. They've got a pretty good coach in Nate McMillan. We need to surpass the Celtics on the standings. They own the tiebreaker if we do end up with the same record. I do not want to play them in the first round. We will not beat them. They will outcoach us like they always do. And we have more superior talent than they do. We are a way better team than they are. That should not be happening. So, Brett, hit the books because I'm tired of hearing the same excuses night in and night out. It's like listening to Andy Reid. We got to do a better job. What is the Sixers missing right now is only coaching. Yes, it is 100% the coaching. And the learning curve for Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, they have to take that next step. They're still so young. I think their indecisions to make certain plays happen is coming into play. We need to get at least the 3rd seed. Yep, I agree. Because then we would play Brooklyn at this point. I still think they're the 6th seed. We struggle with them, but I'd rather play them than the Celtics. Okay? Kenny Atkinson is a great coach. He learned under Popovich as well. Actually, I don't know if I want to play Brooklyn either. They scare me. They got a very great coaching staff. Their players play hard, just like it reminds me of the Celtics system a lot too. So I'd probably even want the 2 seed, but we still got 25 games to prove that. Get a little bit more chemistry with this team. People are trying to create a nickname for this team, and I hate when that tries to happen. Just let it happen naturally. I don't know what to call them, but the last 2 games I call them the Shixers, the Shitzers, because that's the way they've played. The Shitzers are in town again, and I don't want to see it. I want my Sixers back. The team that played the Lakers, not the team that played the last 2 games. We call them the Shitzers. Yeah, Brooklyn is nice. So, no Shitzers, aight? All right, guys, this is Kyle Gaffner with the Bitter Birds. What did you think of the last 2 games? How do you think we performed against the Knicks? What is the missing key? Do you think we should stick with going down to Joel Embiid all the time? Night in and night out? Do we work inside out? Or do you think we should go more towards Jimmy being a closer? You also have Tobias Harris can take up the ball. So you got 3 ball handlers, potentially 4 if you put TJ out there, that could take the ball up. I think Ben needs to learn how to be more aggressive, as we all know. But he hinges on where this team goes and what direction. It is all on Ben Simmons' shoulder, in my opinion, on where we get led this season for the rest of the year. All right, y'all, I'm out. Let me know what's going on. Is Ben Simmons the missing piece? Not only the jumper, but the way he